Well, welcome to RIoT Startup Spotlight, where innovation meets inspiration. In this series, we delve into the dynamic world of entrepreneurship, shining a light on the visionaries and disruptors who are shaping the future. Today, we bring you an exclusive interview with Rick Mineo, the founder and CEO of Swabbot Solutions. Hi, Rick. To begin, can you tell us a little bit about your company?
Sure. Thanks for having me. I'm Rick Mineo, and I'm the founder of Swabbot. So we are a innovative solution to help companies with their swabbing needs for cleaning validation. So we're the safe, accurate way to perform cleaning validation swabbing.
Great. And Rick, what previous experiences influence your role today? Tell us a little bit more about your background and how you got to where you are now.
Sure. So I've started in the industry in about 1993. So I've been around for a little while. So I had a lot of experience doing consulting work for many large international companies. And cleaning validation was one of my first projects I did as a validation person. So that's where my background comes from. I got to see how people did their swabbing manually going into vessels as well as remotely. And that's where the idea came up in about 2012, was to see if we can automate that and keep people safe and keep the compliance side of the validation going. So that's kind of my background. I'm a mechanical engineer by training. I have a master's in mechanical engineering from Clemson University. And so this kind of led down the path of innovation and finding a new solution.
That's really cool. You mentioned a little bit about what inspired you to start this company, but can you dive a little deeper into what was that inspiration and how you got here?
Yeah, so the inspiration was actually watching somebody try to swab with a 10-foot pole. And so we were doing some work at a company, a new startup. They had these large vessels. And, so they were trying to keep people from going into the tanks because of the dangers around that. So watching somebody do training on using a pole and putting looks like a little Q-tip at the end of a 10-foot or 20-foot pole and trying to swab a 2x2-inch square, seemed very complicated, right? And probably thought that it was not very compliant. So I was like, there's got to be a better way to solve this problem than, hopefully hitting and swabbing properly, from such a far distance. I use the example of trying to clean your kid's ear with a Q-tip from 10 feet away. So it's not an easy job. So, but it's something that had to be done. I'm surprised that nothing was out there and nobody had come up with the idea. And so when we looked at the patents, there was similar type things, but nothing in the cleaning validation or nothing specific to what we were doing. So that's why we applied for patents and been kind of working out the solution ever since.
Fantastic. And looking a little bit more to your process, what would you say are the biggest challenges that you've encountered as a startup founder thus far, and how did you overcome them?
So I think the biggest challenges are on the design side. The robot was actually fairly straightforward for us. It was the tank access system as a way to get the bot into place to do the swabbing. That presented a lot of design challenges. Maybe one reason why it's never been done before, but we overcame them through just iterative process, trying different solutions, seeing what worked. I did some preliminary kind of proof of concept studies with engineering students, and then we kind of moved it from there. So as we identified the problems, coming up with solutions, trying out the process. So it did take a little while to solve that, but once we proved that it could be done, and that was where we started digging the details. So now we're in kind of the next phase, which is more on the building the capital or getting capital to scale the business. So we're hoping to go live with some beta customers or for initial customers here in the next maybe 3 months. So that's going to be looking at scaling after that. So the next challenge is going to be capital to scale, right? And hiring people. That's going to be another one.
You got big things going for you in the next couple of months, that's for sure.
Yeah.
As you have gotten this far on your journey, do you have any mentors or role models who've inspired you along the way?
I think yes and no. I think in the beginning it probably wasn't a lot. I did have some the engineering professors, working with helping with some of the from a design point of view. So I guess from a mentoring. But as I gotten closer to production, I started looking at getting more mentors, other business people I've known, worked with in the past, helping out with the business, thinking about how we could structure the business, and also look at getting investors. We got one investor back in February, and he's been great with looking at how to position the company for future investment. So that's, I guess, he'd be another mentor that's just starting out.
Fantastic. And just given what you've learned throughout all of this, what would you say you have in terms of any advice that you would give to someone who's an aspiring entrepreneur or future startup founder?
I think the best thing is never give up. You think when things don't seem to go well, or you might think, oh, this is not going to work. Don't stop. It probably might seem that way. I've done other inventions in the past, and I think I was too quick to give up on the patents. That was one thing I learned. If you do like a patent search and they say, oh yeah, this has already been out there, you can't do it, it may not be necessarily fully true. Like it might be just a simple way of looking at the problem. So I think that was one major lesson. The attorney that I had for this patent, he didn't seem to get fazed when the patent attorney or the patent office says, no, you can't do this. And he was like, that's not right. They always say no the first time to hopefully you go away, right? So it's something you have to say, well, I got to keep trying, and then do some proof of concepts. Obviously don't dive right into a final product, but keep your mind open on what your solution really is and what the problem you're trying to solve really is. And then that'll help you adapt to, things that don't work out or go your way. So you can always change your position or think about how you're going to solve the problem in maybe a different way, or maybe your problem, is you don't really fully understand your problem. So that's the other thing you can look at. So, but never give up. It always seems like you're going to not make it through, but you usually do, right? So.
Rick, I think that's some really great advice, especially as the entrepreneurship journey is not linear by any means.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's all the questions that we have. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it. Take care.
Thank you.